Why did Google say, well, we want to do other things? We don't want to just be in the search business. You began to decide to go into other things. So let's talk about a few of them.
I should say that Google's motto was not only search the web. It was all the world's information. And information is broadly consumed. So the company set out with all of the hiring we were able to do and the talent to begin to solve some new problems. We became very interested in maps, right? And we developed our own maps, hugely successful product line. We bought a company called YouTube, today incredibly successful in terms of video, another form of information. We built an enterprise business that has done incredibly well. I can go on. In some cases, we bought little companies that we grew, like Google Earth. In other cases, these were technologies that we grew ourselves. But the whole idea was to integrate around information. At some point, 4 or 5 years ago, we became interested in solving other problems. Not just information problems, but problems where digital technology could make a material difference. The most obvious one being self-driving cars. And we've been working on that as a research project.
You've been in one of these cars?
Yes.
And you feel safe when you're driving?
Well, the funniest story is, so I get on the car on the highway in California, and it's driving, and I've decided it's following too close. And so I complained to the engineer, and he says, no, we're exactly right. And of course, they got it right. And it gets off the freeway and parks itself and all of this. Another case, I'm driving or non-driving in the self-driving car, and it turns left, and here we have a mother and a child, right, crossing the street illegally. And I'm going, oh no, this is the movie, that you've seen, the car running over the mother and child, skids to a stop, right? So the technology works, and it works because there's a very, very powerful laser imager on the top of the car, which sees more accurately than we do. So imagine a car that has vision all around it rather than just in front of it. There's more than 32,000 people scheduled to die this year in America. We just don't know who they are, right? That's how bad this is. So imagine if we could reduce that by half or a third or a quarter. Most of the accidents are driver-induced of one kind or another. We may ultimately be able to make driving accidents a very, very rare event.